Good afternoon. So my name is Coleman, um, and I'm going to take you through my Capstone Experience. So a little about me. I currently work on a cattle farm, which will be shown in my capstone slide of my website. I also enjoy sports a lot. My two best friends play in the NBA, so I've also learned to love to travel and experience these new cities and all these great things that they have to offer as well. So that's great. So about my education, I'm a supply chain management major, and I'm also pursuing a minor in computer information systems. Fingers crossed. My graduation date is set for May of 2024, not too far from us. So then, my overview. Let me move you up here. My overview of my project. So goal one, we were tasked with an analytical problem solving. So on the cattle ranch, I did data analytics for the group, weights of cattle, goal weights of cattle, how many cattle, price points of feed, as well as the animal itself. So then goal two was communication. So I actually did anxiety and society, which I deal with anxiety, and so I thought that it was something that was really cool, and it was a paper that I wrote whenever I was just a freshman in college. So kind of kicked it back to that. And then goal three was ethics and social responsibility, and I actually was a youth basketball coach. Helped my father with that, and I felt that that was something that really pertained to this because it was low poverty area. These kids didn't have a whole lot, and it felt like we gave them an opportunity to have an escape from, some things that may not be good at home, or just an option to go have some fun with some friends, and maybe get some hardware while you do it. So then on to goal four, functional business and tech knowledge. I did this on cyber data. I did a sort of an analytics project in one of my CIS classes, and had to build a website, had to code it out from scratch. So learned, obviously how to make a website, from scratch with coding, as well as learned how businesses need that website to function, and what works best for them. And then moving on, the fifth and final goal was global environment of business and understanding it. So I actually recently just did a global logistics project in one of my supply chain classes, and it's global logistics of supply chain. So I felt like this fit perfectly. But basically, it was keying in on a material, and then using our sources that we had learned in class, Maersk, sea freight, things like that, to get that product here. So I did denim with my group, and we shipped that from Bangladesh all the way to, I believe we went to Charlotte, because that was the easiest route for us. So quite fun. You learn that you got to do a lot of cold calling whenever you're in that business, and that's the business I'll be in. So you got to shop around, make sure things are the way you want them to be, and would also be feasible for the seller. So just fun all the way around, and really interesting, and you never realize how many intricate details go into that type of stuff. We just go to the grocery store and we pick things up, or we go to the store and we pick it up and we think it's easy, but it's not quite like that. So then for my capstone choice, I did an expansion on cattle ranching, which is what I do for a living now. It's there's a lot of things that go into it that people don't realize, and I think that it's interesting to speak about just because I love doing it. I grew up doing it, and was afforded an opportunity to do it on a little bit larger of a scale, but not quite as large as I would like it to be. But just kind of give some people some insight into what a day-to-day operation looks like, what the yearly plan looks like, monthly plan, things like that. So found that pretty interesting. So then university impact. I talked about Dr. Laura Brewer, whom I've had multiple classes with, and she's she's just awesome. She's one of those people that you want in your corner because she'll go to bat for you, whether you're wrong or you're right. Um, but she really helped me as a young student coming into college slow down a little bit and understand that you don't have to go 150 miles per hour all the time, and that's not what real business looks like. Um, and not she taught us not to be afraid to Google something if you don't know it, or don't be afraid to ask somebody if you don't know something. So I always thought that she just kept things fun, light. Definitely not like high school. She's much more relaxed, laid back, willing to work with you, which I think for a young student was big, especially for me. So then, interest shift. I go back to Dr. Brewer. She and Dr. Dave got me into supply chain because I originally planned to just do business management with a concentration in risk management, but she really sold me on the idea of supply chain being the middleman. And her and I had spoke many a time, and she said that I was able to speak well and articulate on things and have an understanding for certain things. And she said, "You're just a middleman in supply chain," and that's really all it is. Obviously, I've learned since there's a little bit more to it than that. But she also sold me on the point that you can make some pretty good money by just running your mouth. So that's fun, but learning the logistics of everything and all that, that's big. Obviously a big part of it, but it's easier to do that whenever you're interested in something. Supply chain is in everything. It's in cattle ranching. It's in oil. From one end of the spectrum to the other, supply chain is going to be involved. So really found that interesting. Started to dive into it a little bit before I committed to a major and fell in love with it. So future goals, despite the collared shirt and the combed hair, I'm not a huge 9 to 5 sit in an office type of guy. I hope to use this knowledge that I've gained in business and in technology with my minor to start my own landscaping company because you've got to run numbers and all those types of things, even within the blue collar side of work. Or I've considered moving to Texas and working with a large cattle ranch down there, 4/6s. So, may one day, if at some point I have the means to do so, pursue an agricultural degree from a school that's, well renowned in that facet. Just because that would help, a little bit more understanding, not so homegrown knowledge of, what I know about ranching and farming. So be nice to have that, on the resume and be able to say, yes, I also know the business side of agriculture, but I also know what agriculture is itself. And I'm not just some, kid walking in that thinks he knows everything. So that's about it though. And that wraps this up. And I hope you guys enjoy the website.